Yeah, welcome everyone to this YouTube premiere and thank you for joining today. This is Graham.
Hi.
I'm Hendrik. And we are here in the new Orchestral Tools office. We are going back to office quite soon and to work and collaborate on exciting new projects. And by the way, collaboration, this is the reason for this YouTube premiere. By the way, also welcome in behalf of Berklee College of Music. And this collaboration with Berklee is really something special to me because we started this during the pandemic across countries to empower young composers making music. And we announced it actually in December last year, and now we will present the first results of this great collaboration.
Yeah, so first, hello to everybody out there watching in Boston. For those of you who don't know what Berklee College is, it's probably the world's leading music education institution. They have a massive pedigree going right back to the 1950s. They have a massive list of award-winning alumni, Alan Silvestri, Howard Shaw, Pinar Toprak. This is really exciting for us to collaborate with a partner of this kind of size and reputation. It's great. We're learning a lot, and it's been really fun working with the guys. And the great thing is this is what we're about to announce and what we're about to show you is the first step in a wider collaboration with Berklee College of Music. So we're going to continue this and work with the faculty, work with some of the students over the coming months and years. So this is step one in a long thing. It's also part of a wider commitment that we want to do at OT to education in general. So we're looking at producing some more educational content. We've already increased our student discount to 40%, which I think is probably the most important step that most of you wanted. So that's what's going to happen later. But first, let's take a look at this new product.
Berklee is the largest music college in the world. Right here in Boston, we have almost 5,000 students. We really needed them to have an excellent orchestra right at their fingertips.
This collection gives our students access to some of the very same tools that a lot of the top composers in the industry today are using.
It was really important that we partnered with the best in the field, and we found that with Orchestral Tools.
Berlin Orchestra created with Berklee includes everything you need to write orchestral music, and therefore you have all the instruments of a symphony orchestra in one box.
The Berlin Orchestra gives our students access to every single instrument in the orchestra, not just high and low string ensembles and high and low brass, etc.
You have, for example, not just one trumpet and a trumpet ensemble. No, you have trumpet 1, trumpet 2, trumpet 3 and the ensemble.
Many professionals in the music industry are using the Berlin series. It's considered a professional standard.
The switch between different layers of dynamic, it's really seamless.
It consists of one full mic mix, but it has all the dynamic layers, all the round robins of the full Berlin series. It's designed to run on a laptop.
And it allows our students to take their creativity wherever they go.
No other film scoring program and sample developer have collaborated in this way.
I've been working with the Orchestral Tools team to get this library just right, and I'm so excited about what we've built together.
We're very proud to announce the Berlin Orchestra created with Berklee. And this is the new curriculum at Berklee College of Music for film scoring, for creative writing and production, and for some of the online courses. This is an amazing result for us. We're really, really proud. It's a full orchestra in one box. Everything is in there. It's very comprehensive. Everything you need for serious writing and production is all in there. You've got all the individual instruments, so it's not just sections. You get the individual players to write with. You can create complex voicings and phrasings. And it's just like writing for a real orchestra. All the samples are from the Berlin series. So you've got this very, very professional, highly acclaimed sound used by all the top composers in Hollywood, and it's right there in this one package. So we're phenomenally proud to be doing this with Berklee. We're very proud of the results. And I'm going to hand over to Hendrik in the studio, and he's going to take you through it. Have fun.
Thank you very much, Graham. So first of all, Berlin Orchestra created with Berklee includes everything you need to write orchestral music, and therefore it also includes all the instruments of a symphony orchestra in one box. It is created at the highest level throughout the entire production chain because all the samples and everything included in this collection comes from the Berlin series. So basically we can say this is the essence of all the work we put into the creation of the Berlin series over the past years. But still also with this collection, it is very uniform in everything that you get. It is recorded at a Telemach scoring stage, it is recorded in situ, and also the natural volume relations of all those instruments are in perfect and natural balance. And this makes this overall package very appealing because it forms your virtual orchestra, your orchestral template to start with. Now let's take a look into what's included in Berlin Orchestra created with Berklee. So when we open the library tab here in Sign, then we see it's recorded at the Telemach scoring stage. And yeah, it consists out of strings, woodwinds, brass and percussion. So basically all the sections of a modern symphony orchestra. When we open up the strings folder, you see we have solo violin 1, 2, solo viola, solo cello, solo bass, and those are the first chairs. So this is not a solo library in a way that you can create very expressive legato lines with it. It's more created to get definition to the overall string sections, or if you have some little moments like from Debussy or Ravel sometimes, it's just the fine line pen that you use within the string orchestra. And then we have the larger sections consisting out of violins 1, violins 2, violas, celli, basses. And we also included a harp from the harps that we have recorded also at Heldex. Maybe let's start with the first chairs. They are also recorded in situ, so that means they are recorded at the same position like where the section leader sits within the section. Now I route everything to the same MIDI channel that you hear the entire idea of the first chairs, because you can play them like full strings, but you hear the definition. Yeah, so you hear it just offers way more bite and more definition compared to the larger sections. But let's load in the violins 1 section so that you hear the difference. By the way, I control the dynamic, the loudness of the instruments, the dynamic layers with this controller here on the left side. So you hear this is really what makes this library special, especially the violins, this kind of shimmering details and the liveness within the samples. It is also very easy, and this is one of the features of Sign, that you easily can apply legato to it here on the corner on the right side. And then it loads the transition samples into the RAM, and let's listen to how the legato sounds with violins 1. Yeah, so this is the sound of the sustains together with the legato transitions. Maybe let's switch over now to to hear some of the cello ensemble, also with legato. And maybe let's also show some staccato samples to hear a little bit of the short notes. So those are the staccatos, and we also offer spiccato with the string sections for very short and very rhythmical moments. Yeah, those are the cello short notes. Also, it features tremolo and trills. So they are very delicate. And a huge dynamic range. So when I go really from very quiet and then louder to very loud. That's about the strings, and also Berlin Orchestra created with Berklee includes a harp, and this is how it sounds. Yeah, so that's about the harp, and now let's switch over to open the next section of the orchestra, the woodwinds. And also here you have a lot of variety. So starting with the high woodwinds, you have a piccolo flute, you have a flute, a first flute, a second flute, and those flutes are really independent. Two totally different musicians played them. We have oboe 1, oboe 2, English horn, clarinet 1, clarinet 2. We have a bass clarinet, we have bassoons, bassoon 1, bassoon 2, and a contrabassoon. And the real positive thing about this is that this enables you to really orchestrate for woodwinds. But yeah, let's open up a first flute legato just to get a first impression on how it sounds. By the way, when you go over to the performance page, we are currently in the library view to browse through the different instruments and articulations. You can also check out performance page to control the live playing in the sign player. At the moment, this flute includes non-vibrato samples and vibrato samples. So for solo playing, the vibrato, of course, let the instrument more shine. And yeah, let's hear how the flute sounds. Yeah, so this is the wonderful sound of the flute. We can also check out the non-vibrato samples, so just that you hear the difference. This first flute without vibrato. Let's open up some staccatos so that you also hear how the short notes react on the first flute. Yeah, it's amazing how much energy and how much agileness and presence you have in those short notes. This, by the way, was also very important when we captured the short notes, that we get them really, really short and with as much energy as possible to be able to play such parts with it. In any way, the entire Berlin Orchestra is designed to be very agile in any regards. Also, the legatos are designed to be very playable, and we have different short notes included, and the overall character and sound, you also hear this in the first violins, is rather open, melodic, so that you really can write very orchestral kind of music. Let's proceed with the next instrument. I would like to show you the first oboe. Maybe first oboe legato. So what was really important also to us with this instrument is to have a certain melodic character within the long notes, and therefore the vibrato is very important. And those are all the things that we try to capture during the recording sessions for the oboe, to get this kind of very singing and this very melodic singing character. So this is one example of the oboe. Now let's switch over to the clarinet, also legato. By the way, when you go on the sign player on the tab of DYN, that means dynamic, you see the different dynamic layers, and you can also disable different dynamic layers, and it will also, you see this, it will also be purged out of memory. So that means that you don't have so much resources, hardware resources, and it has the positive effect that you don't have this blending of different dynamic layers over each other, because sometimes you have the issue that it sounds like you're playing two clarinets. So by disabling the different dynamic layers and sticking to one, gets you around this kind of phasing issue, which is something we can't avoid, because we have different dynamic layers, and especially with samples recorded in a larger room, you can't just phase align different dynamic layers. It isn't a problem when you have all the different instruments playing together in the room, and if you have a solo moment where you need this, then just use the dynamic layer that you want, and it works quite fine. This is piano layer here now, clarinet. Very, very nice. By the way, we are also releasing a walkthrough, a really in-detail walkthrough in the upcoming days. It will be hosted, by the way, by Andreas Björk from Berklee College of Music, and he will show you exactly what are the different instruments, the different articulations, and will guide you through all the different features that you can expect from Berlin Orchestra created with Berklee. And now, let's move over to maybe to the brass part of this library. So I close the Woodwind folder now and let's dive into brass. And what we see on the very first view is the structure. And this is the huge benefit of Berlin Orchestra in general, that you don't just have trumpet and trumpet ensemble. Now we have trumpet 1, trumpet 2, trumpet 3 and the trumpet ensemble, and the same for horn. We have 4 individual horns, and those are really individual captured instruments and musicians. Also they sit a little bit differently, and therefore you can create very convincing voicings. And for especially here for the French horns, we have sustains, legato, regular sustains, marcato short, staccato short, sustain stopped, staccato stopped. And especially with having different short note length, this is very, very helpful, and I show you why. Let's start with marcato. This is how this sounds. Sounds very convincing because it's recorded that way. Those are short, very short sustains. But when I try to play faster with it, it sounds not realistic because the attacks are not matching. And this is why we use different articulations. And I will show you staccato short now. And then you also hear how consistent everything is, so that you can switch articulations without having this timbre change. And this is what I mentioned at the beginning, that the natural volume balances is across the entire orchestra there, and this helps a lot when you do orchestral programming. By the way, especially on lower instruments, the key switches will be automatically put on the higher side of the keyboard. But if you want to have that somewhere else, it's quite easy to just move it around, and then you have your key switches here, for example, to switch it over. Now let's hear how it sounds when you switch articulations on the fly. So you hear how perfect those different articulations matches to each other. But we still have also the horn ensemble. So let's load the staccatos first. Those are the ensembles, so for the really bold cinematic kind of moments. And also staccato short if you want to have something very agile. Also you have this dynamic range of very, very quiet and very loud. And we also went really, really low with the tonal range. Yeah, let's load in the horn ensemble legato patch. So if you have this very special moments in the orchestra where you have all the entire battery of French horns playing this big melody and all the strings and woodwinds around it to support it, this is the patch for this. Goes really, really loud from very, very quiet. So much about brass now for the moment. On the percussion side, we have different drums, layout and everything across one keyboard. the bass drums here down there. We have 4 different bass drums with different diameters, which also depends on the music that you would like to add them to. Snare drums, also different ones. And toms. It's not just single hits, you also get rolls. Unpitched metals is also laid out across the keyboard. Different cymbals. Tam-tam. Scratches. Yeah, percussion in general, which is just a collection out of different various stuff. And of course, we have a timpani here. Also very nice and sits in a natural position within the room, so it's very easy to connect. And we also have celesta, tubular bells, glockenspiel, vibraphone, marimbaphone, xylophone. So there is kind of a very usable stack of all the important percussions included in Berlin Orchestra created with Berklee. Just as a few last words I would like to share. For us, the most important thing is that you have one collection where you have the entire orchestra, and even if you open up the woodwinds or also the brass folder, it shows you straight away that we did not just made one French horn ensemble, we did 4 different French horns, and this makes Berlin Orchestra created with Berklee be a tool set that you can use to write like you would write for a real orchestra. And another huge benefit is that everything is in natural volume relations, and this is what we do since the start of the Berlin series, that we record everything with the same gain levels to assure that all the different instruments fit to each other. But also within the instruments, consistency is quite important to us, and also the editing itself. The editing is a big point that on brass instruments, but also on woodwinds, it is so crucial to edit the attacks in the right way, to not get rid of those natural beginnings, those natural attacks, and therefore editing those things is not a trivial thing, and we have a very experienced and trained team to do this. Yeah, I just hope that this collection finds its way to many students, to many young composers who start over. Please also check out the product page, which we have just launched, and especially check out the audio demos, because most of the audio demos are created exclusively with Berlin Orchestra. Therefore, yeah, what should I say? Thank you very much for watching, for your time, and see you soon. Bye bye.